Seniors, eat this before bed and sleep all night. It was a quiet evening when everything seemed normal in the small town. The streets were dimly lit, and the air carried the faint smell of rain, though not a drop had fallen. A man named Daniel, who had recently moved into the old house at the end of Willow Street, was trying to settle into his new life. The house was large, far too big for one person, but Daniel liked its quiet isolation. He thought it was perfect until the nights began to change. The first sign was the sound of footsteps. At first, Daniel dismissed it as the house settling, the creak of wood that came with age. But these sounds were different. They were rhythmic, steady, and unmistakably human. Each night, around the same hour, the footsteps echoed down the hallway outside his bedroom. Daniel would open the door, only to find nothing there, just the empty corridor stretching into the shadows. One evening, curiosity got the better of him. Instead of rushing to check, he waited, listening. The steps drew closer, slow and deliberate, as though whoever or whatever was walking knew he was awake. When the sound stopped right outside his door, Daniel froze. He could almost feel a presence standing there, waiting. But when he finally opened the door, the hallway was silent. Days passed, and Daniel tried to ignore it. But then came the whispering. It was faint, almost like the rustle of leaves in the wind, except it came from inside the house. The whispers seemed to drift through the rooms, never clear enough to make out the words, but always close enough to raise the hair on his arms. One night, as he was about to sleep, he heard his name, a soft, drawn-out whisper. Daniel. He sat up, heart pounding, but the room was empty. Determined to find answers, Daniel started researching the house's history. He learned that decades ago, a family had lived their husband, wife, and their daughter. But tragedy struck when the daughter vanished one night. She was never found, and the family soon moved away. Rumors spread that the girl's spirit haunted the place, searching for something someone. Daniel brushed it off as old gossip, but deep down, the whispers and footsteps told him otherwise. Then came the night. Everything changed. He had fallen asleep with a lamp on, determined to fight the darkness. Sometime past midnight, he woke to a cold draft sweeping through the room. The lamp flickered, then went out. In the dim glow of the moonlight, he saw the shape of a girl standing at the corner of his room. She was pale, her eyes hollow, and her hair hung in tangled strands. She didn't move, didn't speak, just stood there, staring at him. Daniel couldn't breathe. When he finally managed to switch on his phone's flashlight, the corner was empty, but the bedsheet beside him was damp, as if someone had been sitting there moments before. The next morning, Daniel decided to leave. He began packing quickly, refusing to spend another night in the house. But as he carried his suitcase toward the door, he noticed something strange on the floorboards. A loose plank near the hallway. Kneeling down, he pried it open, revealing a small space beneath. Inside was a box, old and dusty. With trembling hands, he opened it. Inside lay a small, worn-out doll. Its eyes were cracked, and its dress was torn. Alongside it was a photograph of the family who once lived there. The girl in the photo was the same one Daniel had seen in his room. Suddenly, a chill spread across his neck, and he heard the faintest whisper behind him. "Don't leave me!" Daniel turned, but no one was there. The doll slipped from his hand, landing with a dull thud. The whisper grew louder, echoing all around him, filling the house. The air grew icy, and the walls seemed to close in. He rushed for the door, yanking it open, but what he saw outside froze him in place. The street was gone. In its place was a thick, endless fog. Shapes moved within it, too tall and twisted to be human. The house behind him groaned as though alive, and the door slammed shut on its own. Daniel realized with horror that leaving wasn't an option anymore. From that night on, no one in town saw him again. The house at the end of Willow Street remained dark, its windows like empty eyes. But sometimes, late at night, neighbors swear they hear footsteps inside. And if you listen closely, you might hear a voice whispering through the walls, calling a name that doesn't belong to you.